Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the new premium tier 4 American battleship USS Oklahoma. So, that being said, let's jump right into our commander build. We are running William Sims with Azure Lane Scharnhorst and Andrew Cunningham as our inspirations. We are running Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, and I'm not saying Emergency Specialist, I'm saying Reaching Out XXL with Will to Rebuild. Okay? For the ship's build, we are running AA Gun Mod 2. Okay? And then if we get into this, you'll see that I keep forgetting to put this on. I am changing it to spotter plane, but I keep forgetting to do that, so the video you're about to see is without a spotter plane. But honestly, you don't really need a spotter plane, but it does come in handy occasionally. So yeah, let's take a look. We're running the community contributor flag and the camo that comes with the ship. Alright. Stats. You have 49,800 hit points. You have 18% torpedo damage reduction, which I believe is less than the New York. Could be wrong, but I think it is. Like, I remember the other American line having a lot better torpedo protection. At least until you get to the top tier at the Iowa. But artillery. You have a really unique artillery setup for an American ship. You've got two dual turrets of 356 Mark 8s. Those are the same guns that the Texas has. If you know the Texas, you know what I'm talking about. And then it has two triple turrets that are 356mm Mark 9s, which are the same guns that the Arizona has. And if you're familiar with the Arizona, you're going to like these guns. Alright? Of course, if you like the American Dreadnoughts anyway, you're going to like all the guns. But seriously, these are fantastic at Tier 4. Like, stupid at Tier 4. Firing range is 17 kilometers with a 34-second reload. 180-degree turn time, not great at 40 seconds. HE shell maximum damage is 4,900 with a 27% chance to set fires. But if you shoot HE out of this at anything other than a destroyer, I'm sending you to the stockade, okay? You're going to the brig. Maximum AP shell damage is 11,000. Secondaries, you got 127mm Mark 27s. You have 8 of those that reach out 4 kilometers and reload every 4.5 seconds. 1,800 maximum HE shell damage with a 9% chance to set fires. Then you have 127mm Mark 7s that you have 10 of that reach out to 4 kilometers and reload in 7 seconds. Maximum HE shell damage of 1,800 with a 6% chance to set fires. Alright. AA defense. You have 8 12.7mm Browning M2s that do 30 damage per second and fire out to 1.4 kilometers. You have 76.2mm Mark 10s that you have 4 of that do 8 damage per second and fire out to 3.6 kilometers. And then you have the 127mm Mark 27s that you have 8 of that do 58 damage per second and fire out to 5 kilometers. Now, this doesn't look that good, okay, until you're up against the same tier or a lower tier carrier. Then you'll see just how good the AA is on these American dreadnoughts, or any American battleship for that matter. But yeah, it's not bad. Maneuverability, maximum speed of 18 knots. So, slow as crap, but it's a dreadnought. It's an American dreadnought. We know they're slow as crap. Turning circle, fantastic. We know that they're going to be fantastic turning circle. And then the rudder shift time, 14.7 seconds. So, fantastic for a battleship. Okay? Concealment. You have 12.4 kilometer surface detection, which is pretty good for a battleship. You have 10.4 kilometers by air, and then you have a 2 as always guaranteed. And then the 11.3 kilometer detectability while firing in smoke. Let's move on to the armor viewer. Okay, so here's the downside. You got 19 millimeters of bow armor. What does that mean? That means literally anything with the same caliber guns as you and more goes right through your bow. So what you want to do is show a little bit of that skirt. You know, lift the skirt up, give them a little leg, show folks that they can hit your side and they'll shoot at your belt armor, because that's what you want them to do, okay? You don't want them shooting at your bow. You want them shooting at this, okay? So let's get into it. Let's remove the outer skirt. You see that? The side plating there is 25 millimeters on top of the regular belt armor that you have on these. Let's get rid of the deck armor, sorry. The regular citadel is located, as you can see, all the way in front of the gun to all the way behind the rear gun. Like, it is a very big citadel. It is raised. It's got a slight slope to it, but don't count on that to help you. It generally ends up working in against you, okay? Especially from plunging fire. But you also have to worry because of that weak bow armor. If you over angle, especially close range, people can punch straight through that from this angle. We've seen it many times. Punch straight through right here right where you see that porthole at the waterline. They will citadel. Okay? It happens with every American dreadnought. It is a weakness. Everybody should know it by now. Okay, there's enough of these dreadnoughts floating around that y'all should know this basic freaking concept by now. If you catch one of these American dreadnoughts in a dreadnought shuffle and you are able to pin this, aim for the bow of the ship, you will go straight through that and into that citadel, and it will be devastating. So, yeah. Let's move on to overview. Agile. We already talked about that. Above average ability to change direction. Ironclad. Above average armor thickness. We already talked about that. At the belt, she's very thick. We like thick belt armor. We know likey the thin bow armor. So don't let people shoot your bow. Give them a little leg. Show them, lift the skirt a little bit. Be like, hey, I'm right here. Hit here. Show them what you want them to shoot. Okay? But she is slow. Oklahoma, a Nevada-class battleship belonging to the first series of the U.S. Navy's standard-type battleships. Oklahoma had all-or-nothing armor protection, and her main battery guns were concentrated at her fore and aft ends. She entered service in 1916. There were 2 of them in this series. So let's take a look at the Oklahoma. It's a fantastic-looking ship. You gotta love those tripod, superstructures. Gotta love them. I do like them. And then, of course, the guns. This is what I'm talking about. You've got that Arizona gun on the bottom, and then you got the Texas gun on top. Fantastic. All the way around. You are not going to be disappointed with this ship, I promise. Especially if you like American dreadnoughts. I say it all the time. It's an acquired taste. You either love American battleships or you hate them. And this is no exception. This is literally another American dreadnought that is just fantastic for what it is. Don't come into this thinking you're getting something other than an American dreadnought. Okay? So with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty. We are going to get into this ship. But before we do, every once in a while I like to give a little bit of background information on historically significant ships. USS Oklahoma, aka BB-37, which is her designation, is a significant ship from history. On the, you guys may have heard of this thing called Pearl Harbor. Yeah. Oklahoma was part of that and actually took an absolute pounding and a lot of men died. So let's go over it real quick. On December 7th, 1941, during the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, several torpedoes from torpedo bomber airplanes hit the Oklahoma's hull and the ship capsized. A total of 429 crew died. Survivors jumped off the ship 50 feet into burning hot water or crawled across mooring lines that connected Oklahoma and Maryland. Some sailors inside escaped when rescuers drilled holes and opened hatches to rescue them. In 1943, Oklahoma was righted and salvaged. Unlike most of the other battleships that were recovered following Pearl Harbor, Oklahoma was too damaged to return to duty. Her wreck was eventually stripped of her remaining armament and superstructure before being sold for scrap in 1946. The Hulk sank in a storm in 1947 while being towed from Oahu, Hawaii to a breaker's yard in San Francisco. So, I just wanted to give you guys that as we're getting into this match. Now, obviously, first good shot, amazing hit, right off the bat starting with 13,000 damage, showcasing these fantastic guns. Now these guns, don't get it twisted. These guns are incredibly strong. I'm not joking when I say the 2 triple barrel turrets are Arizona guns. If you know the Arizona and you love the Arizona, you're gonna love this ship. because it's an Arizona at a lower tier, essentially, with a few less of the main guns. But you still look at the accuracy. Can you really ask for much more than this? It's almost all horizontal. Those shots are going to hit the target 9 times out of 10. You get 6 hits right there. We already hit him for 13 the first time. We hit him for another, what, 18 this time, getting 32,000 damage total in 2 salvos. Good God. Now, of course, that Congo out there, not doing himself any favors, is just sitting there broadside and in reverse at that. But we do get out here. Our Farragut is throwing himself away. I don't know why people do this. Like, you've got an entire match to play. Now, I appreciate you spotting these guys, and I'm going to take an opportunity to shoot at them. And I am actually going to hit the Barask here and do a little bit of damage. Only 2 overpins, unfortunately. I think he saw it just in time to maintain and not actually finish his turn. But the Farragut just drove in on 2 destroyers and just threw his ship away, which is not preferable. But down goes our Farragut. Now, that's the only thing keeping those guys spotted, so they disappear. And I have a choice to make. Now, there's an old saying, and you're going to have to pardon my language a little bit. It's not extremely, like, nasty language, but prior planning prevents piss-poor performance. Okay? We know that we have no way to spot those destroyers until it's too late. We know that there are 2 of those destroyers. We are not going to charge those 2 destroyers blindly. Not going to happen. I've already initiated my turn out. I've gotten into comms and said, hey, battleships, turn out. We cannot go in after these 2 destroyers and not be able to see them. It is a death sentence. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and start our turn. You can see I've got a fantastic turn rate. And we've got a shot at the Congo, who has decided to finally go forward because he ran out of room. And you can see this battleship's actually turning a little bit, but not very well, as we pass across his bow and somehow managed to not touch one another. I don't know if he slowed down or if he stopped turning and I was turning good enough, but really, really nice little passing of the guard there, you know. But either way, I'm not going after those 2 destroyers just yet. Now, our Mutsuki takes down their Kamikaze, and that is absolutely massive. Anybody who has ever played against the tier, played with or against a Kamikaze at tier 4 knows it is literally the most broken ship in the game. There's not even a freaking, like, question. The tier 4 Kamikaze is the most broken ship in the game. Period. You can talk Shima, you can talk Yami, you can talk all this. No, it is the Kamikaze. All those torps every 35 seconds with a 4.2 kilometer surface detection. It's stupid. Shouldn't exist. That ship has needed a nerf since the beginning of the game. But, you know, they're not going to nerf it. So, it's going to be broken for the end of time. We're going to push in. And you can see that the friendly has gotten the Barask spotted. What's he do? He spots him before anybody can shoot at him, and then he freaks out and hits the smoke button, and the guy disappeared. I don't need to say how frustrating this is as a battleship commander who wants to help you. Guys, pay attention, and we will help you. Speaking of which, torpedoes were spotted. He's going to run right into it. One of the most agile ships in the game, and he runs right into the torpedo. However, I'm in this gigantic monstrosity, and I can take basic evasion maneuvers and avoid getting a torpedo hit. Plus, they actually run out right as they about to hit me. I was about to take a torp right there, but they ran out. Now, we had HE loaded because we were going to shoot the Barask, and of course, as soon as we fire, Barask gets lit up again. Okay? So, we hit the Nevada out there really good, showcasing that HE and setting a fire. Like, you don't want to be shooting HE out of this thing very often. You want to be using your AP whenever possible. You also don't want to be showing your broadside to 2 American battleships, like a Wyoming and a Nevada, but sometimes you don't have a choice. Now, we want to turn in and shoot at this Barask, because getting a chance to take him out is huge. Now, he slams on the brakes here. I recognize this, but I assume he's going to take off when I pull the trigger. He does not. So then the front guns, we get around, and he's just sitting there waiting for it, and we finish him off. So, now that the torp threat, the immediate torp threat, is taken care of. There's still one out there, but if you look at his last known, he is nowhere near me. I don't have to worry about him. Instead, I get to worry about the enemy battleships. There are 3 of them and a carrier out here. So Wyoming, unfortunately, I don't have the guns loaded yet. I can't take a shot at the Wyoming. I'm looking. Congo is outside of my reach. He has turned around and come back to fight this side of the map. Apparently doesn't like what he saw on the other side. You know, grass is always greener and all that. But that dude has literally spent the entire game either in reverse or forward or turning around. So he has done nothing for his team. And this Wyoming has no idea about what's coming for him when he comes around this island. He has no idea. I'm not spotted. He's not paid attention to me. He's flat broadside. This is going to be juicy, folks. You see me keep aiming in and out. That's me checking to see if he changes using the auto-aim feature. He does not. And so there I take the shot, and look at this freaking dispersion, folks. Those are railguns. Pow! Dropping the bomb from downtown. Well, not really downtown. We'll call that mid-range. That was a foul line jumper. But we're going to turn back in, because now we know the Congo and the Nevada are both going to the left side, coming over by A, and we want to put ourselves in position to take advantage of this. So you can see, once again, I keep zooming in and out because I'm trying to see what the Congo is doing when he's not visible to me. When I can't see his ship, I use auto-aim. And you can see, auto-aim is a pretty fantastic feature for lining up some pretty long-range shots. Now, you'll see it's not perfect. It ends up a little bit too far to the rear, but that's still a good shot. So you will eventually, once you get used to it, using the auto-aim initially is a great idea, especially if you don't know what you're doing. It'll help you learn your leads and stuff at different ranges. But you'll also learn as you go how to fine-tune that auto-aim to get the best shot possible. And that's what we're going to do here on this Congo. You can see we had the fine-tune, and we lead him just a little bit more than the auto-aim said. And look at that dispersion, folks. It looks bad, but it's all horizontal, which means death. We hit him with 5 rounds. Okay, that's nasty. You got to think. This ship was built in 1914, and we just hit that man at almost max range with 5 out of the 10 shells. And that was only the ones that mattered because they actually killed the man. How many more hit the ship after he had already died? You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, I love these American Dreadnoughts. I am biased as crap. I think they are the best low-tier ships in the game, bar none. The German battleships are pretty decent at low tiers as far as being tanks, but they don't have anything on the American battleships played well. An American battleship played well is devastating. Cruisers, destroyers, battleship, doesn't matter. An American Dreadnought is disgusting. And so Nevada comes out broadside on, and we're going to go ahead, line him up, fine-tune it a little bit, and then we're going to take the shot. Not the best dispersion in the world, but still pretty darn effective with 7 out of the 10 shells hitting the enemy. Not bad. Not bad. You love to see it, am I right? But don't worry. We're not done there, folks. I slow down. I'm turning back in. I don't want to give him the best shot in the world. And that's when he fires HE at me. HE. Now, maybe that's a little bit of payback, but I'm not going to lie. Somewhere in the back, like William Sims is just like cursing at everything. But we're going to send this guy to the brig, take a good shot. It's not great. He turns out and manages to avoid. We hit him with 4 shells out of the front 2 guns. So that's still not bad. That's 4 out of 5 shells, right? So that's not a bad hit rate. But he was turning out, so it negated a lot of that. But we're at 106,000 damage. This is a tier 4. I do this all the time in the American battleships. You guys have seen like the New York, even at tier 3, my Wyoming, I was able to get a 100K game. Like, it's not difficult to play these American battleships, but you have to play them correctly. You can't just sit there and sail broadside to everybody on the map every game. You will be removed very hastily. Now here, we're using the auto-aim again. We can just barely make out the bow of his carrier at the top. We aim, we get a clear shot. Not very good dispersion on this one, but it's a carrier. So we still managed to get 3 hits out of 5 shells. Not bad. And then we're going to go ahead, swing the rear guns, and get them out there. You can see he's kind of going away from us. We aim a little high, take it. And this dispersion is juicy, but unfortunately the friendly Jaguar ends up taking him down with torpedoes. And that's going to finish out the game for us because this destroyer out here has no intention of engaging, and we're literally at 1,000 points right now. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed. This has been your first look at the Oklahoma. And I know I enjoyed it. 109,000 damage, high caliber, 50 shells hit, high caliber, dev strike, second on the leaderboard, 1,800. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.